This is part of the trail I've been walking on. Some parts are washed out like this, but it's not too bad. There are some parts where some of the trees had like blocked the trail, but it's not very difficult to get past it. It's actually been a pretty good hike. I actually did a lot better than I did last time, because last time I kept stopping. I was really tired. My body was like trying to get used to the altitude. There was a number of things. Plus, I don't know, I think it helped to go back to New Mexico and then come back. Because when we were here, we're like, yeah, I guess it's nice and cool, but it's kind of hot. I kind of don't like all this heat, and it was kind of bothering and troubling. But when you go back to Arizona, you're like, or New Mexico and Arizona, was like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's ridiculously hot. I'm surprised people aren't just in puddles of sweat trying not to melt away. But here it's like, oh yeah, I can feel that breeze. I'm happy by how well covered this trail is. Because when I went home and I was trying to stay up on the walking, hiking, running aspect of what we're doing, I was so tired because it was so hot. And it sucked because it felt like we spent a majority of our day, if we didn't get out early, we were overwhelmed by how hot it was. And it was just unbearably hot to be outside. I think we would have to reacclimate to the weather, and it was not really enough time to get used to the weather that we were really looking forward to coming back here, because there was just like super hot. It was ridiculously hot. I'm surprised the mosquitoes weren't sweating. That was the other thing too, like the mosquitoes must have sensed the difference in our body, that they're like, hey, these guys look ripe for eating. So here they have mosquitoes, don't get me wrong, but I think in terms of all the other tasty people, we're not as interesting. Oof. Plus there's a lot more people to pick, only by the river. We haven't really gone by the river much. Mostly because there's a trail there, but they're doing construction on one part of it. And it's well lit to an extent. It's a really nice trail, but it's paved, so it can be a little bit harder on the feet when you're walking around. I'm not saying I'm stomping my feet, but in terms of what we're trying to get ready for, this one's more practical for what we're doing, because they have to get used to the change in terrain. Because I mean, we could train the distance on the treadmill and be like, oh yeah, I'm totally capable, and then when it gets to it, you're like, we change elevations, it's uneven, it's not steady. I actually have to have ankle strength. And as you can probably hear in the background, you can hear my jingle jangling. That's my keys and my water bottle, because I kind of feel bad, because like this is a hike that people around here do quite frequently, so they're acclimated to the weather, to the terrain, and you can tell some of these people like hike it. And I'm surprised by like the demographics, because there's sometimes really young people, like probably fresh out of high school, they're like, oh, it's how far? Oh, that's a ridiculous distance. And then you see like older adults and you're like, are you okay walking this? And they're like, do this every week. They're like, because they truck by you, not even winded. You're like, I need to get better. Because last time we were here, that's what the case was. It's so tiring. But I feel a lot better. I ran once. I did a small, well, we did a hike when we got to Arizona. We did the lava caves. And that one's really low key. Most of it was like ankle strength. Oh, that really hurt. But we did do like a video kind of about it from the insides, the depths. But we did good. It was mostly trying to navigate the dark. For me, it was my ankles. I have, ooh, excuse me, sorry. Because of what I do, and it's not true for all nurses, but most nurses do have problems with their feet. And for me, I'm on the heftier side for my body type, I guess. I mean, according to like BMI charts, but like most BMI charts say people are obese. And I know they're just guidelines, not hard and fast rules. But yeah, for me it's like making sure I keep my calf stretched, otherwise I can put too much strain on my heel. Keeping my lower body well stretched. That way I don't have any wears and tears, but also it has to do with for standing for long periods of time. And I know that there are ways to improve your stamina that way, but I know I do have to kind of strengthen weak parts of my physique, I guess. And I know one of the aspects is ankles, and that's definitely a key thing that you need to be hiking long distances. And I could wear hiking boots that last time. So these are what I'm wearing. These are really nice. I really like them. I think they're Ultras. Yeah, these are really good shoes. I like to wear them for work. I like to wear them when I'm hiking or walking around, doing all that stuff. But these actually help so much. I do switch my shoes every day. I try to reduce my feet getting too used to one thing. I want to reduce the chance of like calluses, bunions, just different things. I don't want to overstrain my feet because I want to be one of those 90-year-olds that scare 20-year-olds because they're like beating them in a little marathon. Making them feel bad about their young selves. Because I know when I did my first triathlon, that was one of the things that made me really sad. I was like, I'm 19, I'm in better health than most of the people I'm around, and some of the stuff I've done, some of the people I was around and hung out with, like family, friends, they couldn't fathom doing like a triathlon. They're like, oh, that's more than I can do. And it's like, yeah, I mean, compared to like people around me, I was fit, but like in the realm of fit people, I was just beginning. just like now, in the realm of fit people, I would still say I'm a beginner. I'm not overly strong. I'm not all these things. I'm not all muscle built, like walking around like I was carved out of stone. I mean, I still like eating potato chips. Oh, I know I had to cut back a lot. I mean, my diet's gotten a lot better since we started doing this. But try to do everything in moderation. And I know I was talking about something earlier. It was about, trying to keep up my physique as a nurse and not being overly just kind of, because I know it got really bad at some point when I was like working a lot, going to school, and it was like I was so tired all the time that I would exercise, like do small walks, but nothing too tiring. We would go on small hikes, not really too bad, but mostly just small walks. But then I would have a lot of problems with my feet. And I still do have problems with my feet. It's just not as bad. Because then it was like both of my feet on my heel. I would aggravate the bottom part of my foot. And when I was looking more into it, I think it was like plantar fasciitis. And honestly, it did help, like sharing how I was feeling with some people, and they're like, oh yeah, I used to have that, but this used to help. And I've been doing some things like trying to stay on top of my vitamins, trying to stretch, trying to be a little bit more active. And as much as I want to say like, oh, I've lost weight, I've like physically I'm more, I've got more energy. But in terms of weight, I really haven't lost weight. I probably lost like 2 pounds. And I've noticed like I'm not as like squishy in some parts. But I know a lot of that has to do with diet. Like there was a part of me at some point in my life where I was like, oh, I want to be like how I was when I was 19 and I weighed like 115. And it was like, I guess things changed a lot since then. I'm fine with because I weighed 115 and yeah, I could run. Actually, I could run about 2 or 3 minute miles faster than I can now. So I was getting there. The furthest distance I did was like 6 miles, and that was a lot. But I guess since I stopped focusing on like weight and function, that's when things got a little bit better in terms of how I was feeling. Because I used to awe at people who were like, there was one girl I used to work with, she was super thin and really tall, and this lady was scary because she looked like a model, and she would just like walk easy 5 miles every shift. And she was all over the place. She used to like rock climb, hike, run. And she was really young. And she was like, oh, sometimes I'm too tired after work and I don't feel like running. And we're like, you can shorten it. You can just don't stop running. Just keep running. What you're doing is good for you. Because I know when I was her age, I was like, I could never imagine not running. But life gets in the way. Things happen. You move to a new place. You don't feel comfortable running. I know when I was kind of getting into it, I used to live in Washington. There was a lot of places that you could walk at. I used to ride my bike. I used to run. I used to walk everywhere. I remember once we walked from our school all the way to Jack in the Box in the middle of the night just because we wanted to get those terrible crappy tacos and then some burgers and some curly fries. But that's what we did. It was probably 4 miles there and 4 miles back. But it was what we wanted to do. Because there was nothing else to do. We were already up. We were up studying. So we might as well have made the most of what was going on. Then I moved somewhere that didn't have very safe trails. They had trails that you could kind of explore, but they had a lot of stray dogs, which was scary because there was just so many of them that it was like, I don't want to go running and end up having a dog chase me and bite me, and who knows what that dog has, because I don't know if they have all their shots. I don't know. And I was unfamiliar with the place. I was like, I really don't want to have to go to the hospital on my day off just because, oh yeah, I was out running and a dog bit me. So it just got to the point where I stopped running as much. I would go and walk sometimes, but it wasn't to the extent that I was going at before. But there was one job that I had after I changed, because I moved after that. I was there for a year or two, but after that I moved, and that place was kind of creepy too, because I lived by myself, and there were people who lived down the road from where I lived, because I used to walk with my dog, and I guess one of those people were young and my age, and they were socially awkward, but and a part of me understood you don't get used to talking to people if you don't talk to them that much, and sometimes people can make you nervous that you say word vomit, and it's not helpful if the other person's not willing to kind of listen to you, I guess. Because I know I suffered from a lot of anxiety when I was younger, nervousness about so much. But yeah, this person was because I was recycling cans and they worked there. They're like, oh, I know you. I was like, okay, you know me? How do you know me? I know you because you're my neighbor. I was like, oh, well, they didn't say it like that. They said, I know you. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then they said, you have this type of car, and you have a dog that looks like this, and you have a car that looks like this. And I was like, okay, whoa. Oh. And then thankfully some guy that worked there too came up, and he was like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you. And he was about to say that to this guy, and I was like, okay, that's really kind of creepy question. And he was like, oh, I was gonna talk to you, Mr. Creepy Question Guy. And I was like, and then they gave me my receipt for how much everything weighed, and I got however much the recycling was, and I left, and I never went back there again. I was too freaked out. I didn't like walking. Because I did let my landlord know. I was like, there was a guy at the recycling place. He looked like this. And he said this to me, and she was like, yeah, that's your neighbor. They live down there. I was like, they're kind of creepy. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mostly just didn't respond to that interaction, but it was just kind of weird, the whole thing. I'm like, who starts a conversation with, like, I know you. I know where you live. You wear this color. I know where your dog is. I know what it is. And it's like, okay, cool. I don't know. Maybe I read too much into the interaction and homie was too scared to talk to me, but maybe I dodged a bullet because that whole interaction is weird, even trying to recount it. Yeah, so I stopped hiking or walking around there because there was honestly, where I lived, my landlord, oh, hello. There was where I lived, there where my landlord lived, and then probably like 2 or 3 people. So there really wasn't that many people around. And I'm like, if my landlord is this older lady who has like, I think she had like 3 dogs. She lives by herself. She's a little hard of hearing, and it's like, if she doesn't feel safe, and she's lived here longer than me, I don't know, maybe I should trust that feeling, because it's just kind of us holding down the fort. Yeah. And then it just slowly devolved into like being a little less active. And then that point where COVID happened, and you're like, well, I was fortunate enough because I had a good job, I had school, I had an offer for a second job that was really good. It was flexible. I could do my schoolwork at work when I had downtime. So it was actually the best job to have at that time. Plus my boss was like super chill. and then his boss's boss was super chill, and they were aware. They're like, I'm totally behind what you're doing, because I mean, you gotta get while the getting's good. Sunset, almost sunset. I'm actually a little jealous. There's somebody who ran up this. They're gonna run all the way around the loop I just did. And I'm just slowly trekking. I mean, I know you get there to a certain point, but I didn't realize I was talking for that long. Yeah. So I'm glad that I'm getting a little bit in the groove of things. And I know I wanted to try to do this one at least once every week. More if I'm able to. It's just the way my schedule lined up. I wasn't able to do it much this week. Because I came in from New Mexico. I had work for 3 days. I had 1 day off, and then I work 2 more days. And then I'm off for like three days, and then I work 1 day, and then I'm off 2 days. It's kind of sucky, but that's just how they needed me this week. So I'm being flexible. I know how to occupy my time when I'm not at work. And it's nice because our landlord's pretty dope. And we found this trail fairly early in our move here, so it's a good waddle. Nice, peaceful. It's good for any activity type. You can walk, run. Dude, there are people who do this in flip-flops. And honestly, like I said earlier, there's people who they only take a water bottle. And I'll ask if someone can edit this next video to this. But I'll kind of show you what I'm carrying, because I'm trying to get used to carrying all this weight. Because I have my water bottle. In my water bottle, I have my shoes, my fanny pack, then I have my hat, my sunglasses, and then my bag. Yeah. And it's probably like an extra 10-15 pounds, but I know when we get ready for this big race, we're gonna be carrying everything, and you can't lighten your load along the way. I mean, that sounds really weird. I mean, in terms of everything you bring, like items, you take with you. You keep with you. If you give it to somebody else to offload it, you get disqualified. So that's not gonna happen. So I can't be like, oh, here, can you carry my bag? Because I'm a ween bean. Instead, I have to carry my bag if I bring my bag. And I know I'm probably just gonna bring like snacks if I want to snack on something, water, small things. But I definitely have to spend some of this time today to plan out what the logistics of everything. And it's still a few months away. It's just I want to be prepared, and I don't want to get to the point where I'm like, dude, I didn't even think of that. And I know you can't prepare 100% because some of that preparation is experience. And you kind of have to experience like, dude, I didn't even think of that. And it's researching and looking up stuff. So I'm hoping to get on the ball and try to get ahead of things. But I guess if you liked watching this video, you liked watching me on my wobbly hike, listen to me heave and hoe and breathe heavy into the mic, then I guess like, subscribe. Where am I going? Beep, 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 beep. I think where I have to go is it this way? I think it's this way. Oh, I was looking at the trail. Oh, you're 200 feet from the falls. Yeah. But yes, if you liked my content, my rambling, my weird stories, then please like this. I usually don't ramble as much. But I am on this hike, wandering about, trying to ease my mind because it was a long week. But thank you for joining me. I hope you too find a way to unwind the madness that happened. So find a nice place to walk, de-stress, take care of your feet, drink lots of water, stay hydrated this summer. And yeah, follow for more content. I'll try to post every week. And depending, it may be another place we hike next week. I really have to see the logistics. It may be in the middle of the week where I post my next video, but we shall see. I'll try to be consistent. Again, thank you for watching. If you are ever in Casper, Wyoming, definitely try Rotary Park Trail. It is wonderful. It's about 4 miles around, but don't let that ease you into a sense of calm, because it's actually really hard if you go the way I went. If you come the way I came, then it's actually a little bit steeper, a little bit harder. But yeah, do check it out. It's got a waterfall at the front, and then you can wander all around. A lot of people run this, so I guess I'm walking it. But yeah, like, subscribe. Ooh, I'm scaring myself out here. And then I'll post kind of what I'm carrying with me. Okay, bye.